Hi, I'm Captain America. How many more of these?
Hey everybody, this is going to be my Thor Ragnarok post-credits scene video. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff dropping this weekend between this and Infinity War, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. And I'm still doing the Thor ticket giveaway. I'll explain at the end of the video. So there are two post-credit scenes, unlike Guardians of the Galaxy, which had like a bunch of extra things tagged onto the end of it, especially that music video that they shot special. Of the two Thor scenes, the first one is all about the mythology, Infinity War, and stuff that's coming next. That's pretty standard for Marvel Phase 3 films so far. It's like the mid-credit scene, the first one you see, will be like the next big thing that's coming. And then the one that plays after the credits, like the true post-credit scene, is mostly just a funny moment with characters from the film. In the mid-credit scene, you have Thor, Loki, Heimdall, Korg, Valkyrie, pretty much everybody that survived Hela's final assault on a spaceship, going to create a new Asgard on Earth like they did in the comics. Asgard existed as a city on planet Earth for a little while until they rebuilt it back in outer space. But all of a sudden, a giant ship jumps into frame in front of them, preventing them from moving forward. It looks like something reminiscent of the Chitauri technology, but it's pretty clear they're implying that this is Thanos' ship. His ship in the comics is a little more bulky looking, but because he's been using the Chitauri as his infantry this whole time, it makes sense that his technology would flow from that. So the idea is that Thanos has come to collect the space gem, but Loki has stolen it. He ports away. We actually got a shot of him in that Comic-Con Infinity War footage with the Tesseract on planet Earth. So we know that Loki basically jets out before Thanos can take it from him, because Infinity War is going to be a heist movie, and the story is Thanos taking the gems from the Avengers. But because the very beginning of the Infinity War trailer is Thor face-planting on the Milano, it's implied that Thanos blows that Asgardian ship up and he's just left floating through outer space. We don't know why the Guardians go to Asgardian space, but they do wind up there somehow. So that just teases that that's the first gem that Thanos is coming for. And before the movie came out, I thought he might be coming for that particular gauntlet, but because it's implied that the gauntlet that he puts on during Age of Ultron is the real gauntlet, and Hela says that the gauntlet in Odin's vault is totally fake, it just seems like he's coming for the space gem first. It is sort of an Easter egg for the first movies because the space gem is the very first Infinity Gem that we saw in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Mind Gem was the one after that. So even though we haven't seen the Soul Gem, I'm expecting some Easter eggs in the logic of how he goes after the gems. Like, oh, these are where the gems popped up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe during Phase 1, Phase 2. So for those of you asking about the Aether, I'll do an Infinity Gems video later this weekend too. But what happened is the Aether was given to the Collector. So at some point in Infinity War, there will probably be a scene with the Collector getting his ass handed to him and Thanos taking that gem. The planet Asgard is effectively destroyed by Surtur after he's sort of resurrected in the Eternal Flame. Like they chuck his head in, it's meant to be kind of a funny moment, and they end up doing their version of the Walt Simonson Surtur saga. So if you haven't read that, it's actually a really cool comic book story. But like Hela says, you're not powerful enough to defeat me. And they're like, yeah, we're not, but he is. So they sort of sick Surtur on Hela, and you think that she might be dead. But because she's such a big cosmic entity, and because of all the circumstances surrounding who she is, like Cate Blanchett being such a great actress and such a high watermark for actors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it feels like they'll try to keep her around. And because she literally refers to herself as death at every turn, every time she's on screen, it just sounds like they'll try to turn her into the cosmic death of the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet saga. So as far as we know, there is no Hela in Infinity War. Like, that's right around the corner. We're going to be watching that in May. So I would assume for now that as of the end of the movie, she's not dead. She's like Loki after the first Thor film, just floating in outer space until he eventually makes his way to Thanos, who gives him the Mind Gem with the idea that he can take over the planet, keep Earth, while Thanos gets the gems. But think about it this way, if Thor can survive in the vacuum of space until he lands on the windshield of the Milano, then so can Hela if Hela is supposed to be more powerful than Thor. Based on the way they explain each other in the movies, even though they both have this godlike power, she's just a little more terrifying than he is. But again, they have not confirmed anything. If she comes back, it won't be till Avengers 4, which they are filming right now. And currently, they're actually filming something that looks like it's going to be a flashback scene to the end of the first Avengers film, because they're all wearing their old costumes. Thor has long hair again. Loki's wearing that muzzle that he had at the end of the first Avengers film. So we'll talk a little bit more about that this weekend. The second post-credits scene is all about what happens to the Grand Master after the end of the events of the film. There's this big revolution on Sakaar. He tries to pawn it off like he's one of the people and he inspired them to do it. So basically, it's just a full-blown revolt. It's implied that he's dead, but because he's an elder of the universe, he's incredibly powerful. So if you remember the funny Team Thor videos they did just to parody what Thor was doing during Civil War, they said that they're actually going to do Team Thor Part 3, and it'll be the Grand Master that goes to live with Daryl. So it'll be Jeff Goldblum and Daryl doing the Team Thor thing. But the way they talked about it made it sound like it's only going to be released with the Thor Ragnarok DVD, so we probably won't see that for a couple more months. But Kevin Feige was hopeful that at some point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we would see the Collector and the Grand Master share a scene together. But they do heavily imply that the Grand Master is killed by his subjects at the very end of that post-credits scene. So, for all intents and purposes, it seems like he's dead, even though he shouldn't be given his power levels. But what'll happen is I'll post my Easter egg video on Saturday just to give people a chance to see the movie. I know it's been out for a couple days internationally, but it was just released in the United States as I'm posting this video. So let me know in the comments, what did you think of the post-credit scenes compared to, say, like Spider-Man Homecoming, which also had a sort of tag that wasn't quite what you expected. Like they had the Captain America patience line where everyone's like, wait a minute, I waited around for this. Are they trolling me? What is going on? That's sort of Marvel's new strategy is like, okay, we'll give you a little teaser for the next movie that's coming up, but then we're going to troll you just a little bit. But I know a lot of you are wondering when that Infinity War trailer is going to drop. There's nothing official that they've said about that, but just be prepared for it to come before the end of the year. My expectation now is sometime in the next 6 weeks or so. I think if they're going to release it before the end of the year, it'll be sometime between now and when Star Wars comes out in the middle of December. What'll happen is I'll announce the next giveaway winner when I post that next Marvel video. You can click here to learn all about Odin's Infinity Gauntlet, and you can click here for my review. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.